It's time now for today's business news. Let's say hello to Yuka Royer.
Hi, Francois.
And we begin with jury selection starting in a trial that pits former friends turned foes, two tech titans, Elon Musk taking on Sam Altman's OpenAI and its partner Microsoft.
Yeah, it's a lawsuit that's been dubbed the latest tech soap opera in the United States. Now, Elon Musk is accusing Sam Altman of fraud, saying ChatGPT developer OpenAI has betrayed its founding mission of being a non-profit organization and seeking more than $100 billion in damages. Musk co-founded and helped fund OpenAI back in 2015, but left the company in 2018 after a bitter power struggle. He then went on to create his own AI company, xAI, that's behind the chatbot Grok. The trial comes at a sensitive time for OpenAI that's preparing to take its for-profit arm public following a major restructuring completed last year. Juliet Brown has more.
It's the battle of the billionaires. Friends turn foes, Elon Musk and Sam Altman go head-to-head in a case that could have significant repercussions on the future of artificial intelligence. Musk co-founded OpenAI as a non-profit lab in 2015, alongside Altman and OpenAI president Greg Brockman. Now, he's accusing them of having broken the company's founding charter by transforming it into a for-profit business.
Altman cannot be trusted. He inverted the mission of OpenAI from a non-profit open-source AI company to a closed-source maximum-profit AI company. Deception.
Altman and co. reject the accusations, claiming that Musk, who left OpenAI in 2018 and went on to create his own rival artificial intelligence company, is essentially taking a dig at the competition.
The truth is that this case has always been about Elon generating more power and more money for what he wants. His lawsuit remains nothing more than a harassment campaign that's driven by ego, jealousy, and a desire to slow down a competitor.
Musk is calling for $134 billion in damages, the ousting of Altman and Brockman, and an end to ties between OpenAI and its major shareholder Microsoft. Perhaps most importantly, he has also called for the reversal of the company's recent shift towards a for-profit model, which would compromise its ambitions to go public on the stock market later this year. Beyond the financial stakes, the trial will also raise questions about who should control AI and in whose interests. The verdict should be announced on May 18th.
Not involved in this fight is Facebook's parent company, Meta, which has other concerns.
Yeah, well, in a surprise move, China ordered the Instagram parent to unwind its acquisition of Chinese-founded AI startup Manus, a merger that's already happened. Manus is based in Singapore today, but was created by Chinese engineers and had a Chinese parent company. Meta bought it for about $2 billion at the end of last year, but in January, officials in Beijing said they were investigating whether the acquisition had violated China's foreign investment laws. On Monday, the National Development and Reform Commission said it had banned foreign investment in Manus in the latest show of Beijing's effort to stop US firms from acquiring Chinese talent and technology. It's rare, though, for China to order complete corporate deals to be undone, and Meta has already integrated Manus in some of its products. The AI startup's parent shut down its offices in China and moved to Singapore last year to bypass US investment restrictions on Chinese tech firms.
Here in France, consumers, the big buzz for them is tighter labeling rules when it comes to the sourcing of the honey that we eat.
Of honey. Well, labeling rules for honey are set to be toughened starting mid-June in France, according to a decree published at the weekend that takes a 2024 EU directive into effect, indicating the country of origin in food items is already mandatory within the EU, but the new so-called breakfast rule takes it further to combat fraud, such as the addition of sugar in imported honey. Caitlin Brown and our colleagues at France Télévisions have more.
In supermarkets, it's often hard to tell exactly where your honey comes from. Many jars contain blends from several different countries, like Ukraine, Spain, and Argentina. But the proportions are rarely clear. Starting in June, new regulations will require these percentages to be clearly displayed on the label, a welcome clarity for consumers.
This allows for much more transparency. Different countries have different legislations, different proportions, and more or less acceptance of pesticides, etc.
I think it's good to keep customers informed. It needs to be clear whether it's pure honey or not.
If you don't have the ingredients list, there's no way to know. It helps me know exactly what I'm buying.
This regulation aims to tackle fraud, especially in products coming from outside the EU, which can sometimes be fraudulent, diluted with sugar to cut production costs. For the local honey industry, cracking down on origin labelling is a way to support domestic French production.
We French beekeepers are facing tough competition from honey imported from abroad, where labor costs are extremely low. Now we finally have a labeling tool that allows us to properly inform customers and defend our local honey.
This new rule will be enforced in France starting June the 14th, giving manufacturers the time to phase out old labels.
And what continues to sting is the prices on the oil markets, Yuka.
Well, crude prices are rising again after US President Donald Trump called off a trip by his envoys to Pakistan for talks with Iran. The North Sea Brent is approaching $110 a barrel. The US's West Texas Intermediate is trading at around $97 a barrel. European stocks mostly retreated this Monday, giving up earlier gains in afternoon trade as Iran-US peace talks stalled. Shares on Wall Street are edging slightly lower, with the S&P 500 just below the flat line. Investors are also turning their attention to the Federal Reserve's policy meeting starting tomorrow, as Donald Trump's pick for the next chairman, Kevin Walsh, moved closer to being confirmed after the US Justice Department dropped a case against current chairman Jerome Powell at the end of last week. And that's it from the business desk.
All right, many thanks for that. Yuka Royer will be back with more, including the closing word on those markets.